You know when you get to the end of the week and you're just like, where the heck did the time go? Yeah, already time to set up another weekly, it seems. Hello team, welcome back for another bullet journal weekly setup. As per usual, we're going to jump on in and have a look at what did and didn't work this week, have a think about my intentions for the week coming, and thus plan out a weekly spread that's going to work for that. Let's get into it. As we typically like to do, we will first start by having a look at how this week went. So, as you can see, for this weekly we had a section for each day of the week along the top, and then Sunday just on the side here. Priorities, which got used a lot better compared to the week before, so like this many priority tasks versus that many. Yeah, made much better use of it, but it still was like not completely used. So probably a pretty good amount of space for that priority list. In terms of the task list, or like the running task list for the week, that one I felt did not have enough space. When it came to like Saturday and Sunday, I kind of wanted to write more in here and didn't really have the space to do that. So whatever I set up is going to have more space for tasks. The habits were fine. I do have an additional habit that I want to put into this. So for the week coming, I'm going to need to have just a little bit extra space for that habit list. Something that I was thinking about doing for next week is actually trying to have it so that then I can use it for my weekly reset. So I can put my brain dump directly onto my weekly, so I don't have to keep flipping back to where I put the brain dump or like write all the tasks out and then transfer them over onto the weekly. They'd like already be on the weekly. And then from that brain dump, I can pull out all the ones that shouldn't be there, so the things that need to go on my someday maybe list, or my wish list, or in other various places. But all of the things that are tasks that I want to get done in that week can actually stay on the weekly, and I don't have to rewrite them. Yeah. Because that's my intention, I think I'm going to need a lot more space on my task list. I mean, I already said that I wanted to have more, but I think I'm going to need a fair bit more. So for that reason, I'm thinking that for next week, I'm going to use a Dutch door. Now, flipping over, here I have put my home working wish list, which is kind of like my content creator / office wish list. I'm not going to put the weekly here. I'm going to use this page for something at some point, but we're going to start the next weekly here. Just press my page down. There we go. So this will be one part of the layout. This page here will get cut to become the Dutch door, and then we'll have the rest of the layout here. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to try and have my habits and priorities here possibly. Maybe start the task list here, have it run over onto this page, have something along the side here, and by here I actually mean on this page, so like cut the page away and have possibly like my meal plan, because I actually also really enjoyed having a meal plan for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, not just dinner. So I can put that down the side. That sounds like a good idea. I think what I'll do first though, in terms of the planning out here, is that I'm going to put my green borders in, but before I do that, I really need to plan how far out I want the Dutch door to be, because that will dictate how the border ends up on this page. Yes. So I think I'll have like the border come across and not go down this side, but it'll go like across to this side of the spread. So like one big box. And then on the other side, one big box again. Yep. Just flipping back to this week. So in terms of the task list space I had here, this was actually a very comfortable amount of space. So I think I might make it that big. Yes. Which means we need to measure how much space that list takes up. Alright, so this side panel here is 6 centimeters from the start of the dots. If we flip over to first page of the weekly, second page of the weekly. So 6 centimeters brings it into there. Gonna need a pencil into here, which means that I want this Dutch door to be cut at about that point too. There we go. And I think what I'll do is I'll cut it and I'll have the green border sit directly on there. So maybe I'll draw the green border in first and then cut the page. Yep. Moving up to here. And again, we're just doing those like 5 square tall segments. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the borders are something that I want to use more of in my journal. Not necessarily this type of border all the time. Although it is simple, I think I'd probably get bored of it if I did it every single month, but it has been something I've been enjoying. So that's going to sit flush to the edge of the Dutch door, so we'll cut that part away, and then that'll be right in line with the edge of the page. and then once I cut it away, I'll do the outlining on the other side, but we'll do all of the bordering here first. So now as our first border is done, we can cut the Dutch door out along this side. 1, 2, 4, 6, yep. So we're just carefully cutting out along the dot grid line that we have running vertically up the page. And then once this is cut out, I will use my corner rounder to round off those corners, just because I think it's a nice touch. I think it kind of like makes it feel more finished than having the corners, you know, sharp, pointy, at right angles. And any offcuts that I make in my journal, I usually just put into my scrap paper basket, because I'll use these again to either like cover mistakes or make tip-ins, that kind of stuff. Like, we can make another Dutch door here with the tip-in just by sticking it in to the book. Rounding the corners though. Go. Beautiful. And flipping over to do the exact same border but on the other side of the page. Because of the sizing that I'm using, I couldn't have every one of the bamboo segments take up just 5 dot grid spaces, so instead some of them ended up being 6 or 4, and I think I even had a couple in there that ended up only being 3. So the borders are done. It's now time to go in and think about where I want to place everything. So doing some sketching out. Like I said, I want to have that section along the side here for my meal plan for each day of the week. So that one, I believe that they took up 5? No, they would have taken up 6. 6 times 7 is 42, so there should be 21 spaces. Yeah, 21 spaces. Excellent. So each of these is going to be 6 dot grids tall, or 3 centimeter spaces vertically. Excellent, so that is where the meal plan will go. This one and this one are going to be task list parts, and so is this space here. So habit tracker, mini calendar possibly, with a title, priorities, days of the week stuff. And for the days of the week stuff, that would just be for events. So if each day of the week here took up 1.5 centimeters, what's 1.5 times 7? 10.5? So 10.5 centimeters up here. So we could put in a little meal planning section here instead, and then leave this for events and stuff like that. So like meals, events, priorities, depending on how big I want the priorities, possibly mini calendar. Probably just priorities though, actually, because if we go and have a look at how big the priorities list was last time I used it, so I used this much space, and that doesn't even include the header. Yeah, okay, so priorities, meal plan, habits, task list. That sounds pretty good. I want pretty good balance on both sides in terms of the sizing here, so this one was 6 centimeters from the side, so we're gonna make this one 6 centimeters from the side. There we go, which means that one gap over is where my task list, habit tracker and stuff can be. Similar idea on this side. There we go. Cute. Now as I have that planned in, I'm going to go and put in some titles. And to do that, we're just going to use my Staedtler Tri-Plus Fineliner. I think that having 2 dot grid spaces for titles worked pretty well, so like 2 dot grid spaces, versus what we did the week before, where we had 3 for this little header here. So 2 sounds good. Meals. Already. And just to check how we headed up the habits last time, and by last time I mean last week. Oh, okay, we didn't draw in a full habits header. Okay. Yep, on this one, this is where we had the big one. So this one we intentionally put it above each letter. Okay. But because I haven't done that with my other headers, I'm just gonna write it in all caps and then put in the initials for each day of the week. A dot. Very good. And just because I said I wanted that extra habit, so this habit tracker took up 9 centimeters, so this one's going to be 9.5. So that's where it's going to end, and we'll start the task list 1 space underneath that. And I'm not going to write out a tasks header, I'm just going to put in the initials because it's going to be that Alistair method task list. And then the same on this page as well, same over the page for the continuation of the task list. And the next column, there's going to be so much space for tasks, which I'm actually quite looking forward to. I think it'll be nice just to kind of have breathing room in the task list. A lot more freedom to write down more if I want to. And then these guys on the side here are just going to get their Monday through to Sunday headers. I think I'm gonna make the headers a little bit bigger than I did last time because I'm just putting events here. I'm not putting events and dinner. And we will also go and put the numbers in. We just have to look them up to make sure that I don't put in the wrong numbers because that wouldn't be too great. So this is gonna be the 16th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21, and 22. Awesome, so now that our titles are in, I can go and erase these pencil lines at the very least. Just because otherwise I will probably forget them. So you can see here, because of where we've cut that Dutch door, we've just got the divider like right next to the days of the week section, which I kind of like. It doesn't cover up anything over here, which is good. I'm kind of wondering about putting in some kind of label for the meals section as well, just so I can see a separation between each of the days of the week. So even if I go and write in like MON, and then I can have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then TUE, breakfast, lunch, dinner, WED, breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc. Or if I just put in some big letters, or if I just draw some dividing lines like across. I don't think I want to draw the dividing lines in because that won't really match with anything else we've got on this layout. I might just go put in some bigger letters. I think that'll work. Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I will put in the little initials for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but first we need to go and put in some green horizontal lines. My latest favorite thing. And just like we've done for the rest of the month, we're going to use the calligraph to put those in that marsh green color, which is just a nice pale green. So flipping the book around, because it's going to be way easier to get straight lines or straight-ish lines in doing that. And I'm going to start on this section here because I want the green line at the bottom to be in a specific place. So starting at the ones that actually hit the bottom is a good idea. I know that this green horizontal lines thing adds a lot of time to the actual setup of this layout, but I don't care because I like it. And we're going to do the ones over here as well, so that then they line up with each other. And also because this section goes all the way to the top of the page, it's going to dictate where I put my green lines in for the habit tracker, because I want those lines to match up with this side of the page as well. I like it when everything lines up. It makes me feel good. Sweet, so now as that top section is in, I can actually go and put in my green lines for my habit tracker so that they line up. And then the green lines for this side as well. So starting at the initials for each day of the week and stopping before we get to the existing green lines, because we don't actually want them to touch each other. We want that separation or that gap to actually show that they are separate sections, which are intended to record different things. And then onto the priorities section above that. Again, just keeping those green lines in line with the existing. See, by this point we'd normally be pretty much finished, but haha, there is more page to put more lines in. So we will again start with one of the sections that goes all the way to the bottom of the page, just so that we can use that as a reference for all of the other green lines that we're going to put in. Just while we're putting in our green lines, our secret word for today is productive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. I'm a little conflicted about having the empty spaces beside the dates on this section here. It just feels very open. So I'm thinking that I might actually put some greens beside the dates. I'm gonna wait until I get to the top. That's how much time I have to think about it. Just because I know that like no other titles have that, so it might look a little bit odd. But I feel like there's a lot of white space there, which I don't like as much. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put the green lines in. Boink. So just bringing it up to, but not quite touching the labels, headers, things. There we go. And then we need to put the green lines on the other side. I do wish that there was a faster way to do this. I mean, there probably is a faster way. Just don't do it, but I like the way they look. They make me happy. I'm gonna spend the time to do them, but I'm also gonna take the opportunity to complain about the time that I spend doing them. Here we go. I'm almost tempted to put in additional green lines just to make the headers on all of the pages kind of match. So we'll chuck in a green for the meals and a green for the priorities. I feel like I have to do the habits now, but I don't really want to. What's done is done. And then one here for the task list as well. There we go. Green everywhere. So much space for tasks. I actually kind of want to measure up how much space I do have. So on each of my long ones, I've got 20 half, and on this one I've got 9. So 20.5 times 3 is 61.5. 61.5 plus 9, 70.5, and then 70.5 times 2 is 141. I have 141 lines to write tasks in. And that doesn't include the priorities or the event space. Ha! What we are going to do now though is write in my habits. So each of the habits gets a little circle to say that it is a list item. And we just really need to decide where we want that additional habit to go. I think I want it to go either next to or in between the checking of the actions list, the checking of the projects list. So probably after those two, because I would check in this journal and then I'd do the additional habit of checking in with my content planner. Yeah, check in with content planner as a habit. So that would be somewhere in here, check actions, check project, check content planner. But everything else can stay in the same order because that has been working well. Only vitamin, planned lunch, used to-do list, 1 cup of water. So check off habits and then check. Track spending, prepped for tomorrow. PM brush, floss teeth, PM face care, and then bed by 11 PM. Excellent. And then we need to add in the initials for each day of the week for my meal planner. So we have the priorities list, which is a similar size to last week, the meal planner, which is separated out and by itself. We have the habit tracker with that additional habit, the large space for the task list so that I can actually use it as part of my weekly reset, and then my place on the side here for events, which I can see regardless of which way I have that Dutch door. I will say I feel very good about having this weekly set up before I do my weekly reset process. So now, when it comes to doing the brain dump stage of the weekly reset, I can just put it straight onto the weekly. Very helpful. Hopefully this is another style of weekly setup that you can add to your arsenal, but if you wanted more inspiration for weekly setups, do be sure to check out the playlist we have on the screen here. As always team, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye!